Hello. Am I audible now? Guys, am I audible? Okay. Okay, stop messaging. Stop messaging. Well, so today, what we are going to discuss is using stored procedures to perform the CRUD operations, CRUD operations. See, NT framework, just like it creates a database and tables for you, it is also capable of creating stored procedures to perform the DML operations. Stored procedures to perform the DML operations. Understand? DML. What is the DML? Data manipulation language. Only three things comes for you there. Insert, update, and delete. Select is not a DML. Select is a DQL. It's a query language. So to perform the DML operations, NT framework can also create your stored procedures. Not for select. Not for select. The reason select is done with the different clauses, conditions, and all. So that's why what it tells is that you use entity framework to perform the select, but rest of the activities I will do by using the procedures. Which it can also create the procedures to you. Let us see. Watch. Getting a new project. I'll credit it as NT framework code first 3. Already we created 2 projects in code first. Now I'm going to create code first 3. Create. Now come to install NT framework. What next? Define the domain classes. First, a model class. My model name is student. Guys, already explained you how to define the properties and all. So I'm importing the 2 namespaces. What's it? The schema and the data annotations, and then I'm going to define a class representing a student. Have a look. Table name should be student. We learned in the last class. Column, key column name is SID, and auto generation I'm disabling. Student name, actual column name should be S name. Data type should be varchar of 100. And it is a not null field. It's a not null field. Then you have student class, column name should be class. Text, address, data type is varchar, max length is 1000. Piece is float. Piece is float. So like this, I'm just going to define the required properties in my class now. What next? The next thing is, here we don't require any navigation properties or anything now. Why? I'm taking only one class. I'm taking only one class. Sorry, one model. So now let me define the context class. We'll name it as SchoolDB. So the third database we are creating, right? SchoolDB. SchoolDB context. Import system dot data dot entity, inherit from DB context, inherit from DB context, public SchoolDB context colon base of, write the connection string name. I'm giving the connection string name as constr, and then public DB set, which type? Student type, students get set, get and set. Okay, done. So my domain class is also ready. What next? Go to web.config. Connection strings, add name is equals to, what is the name? Constr, provider name is equals to system dot data dot SQL client, and connection string is equals to data source is server, user ID SA, password 123, password is 123, and database is equals to, I want to create a database with the name called as SchoolDB. Okay now? So done with connection string code also. Okay, what next? So installed entity framework, defined the domain classes, and also implemented the connection string. What next? Add one controller, name it as student controller, and guys, you write all the code for performing the CRUD operations, for selecting, inserting, updating, deleting. For all these things, you write the methods. I just demonstrated a number of examples to you. Follow that. I'm not showing you again. First, input the model namespace dot models, and second important thing, create the context class instance. SchoolDB context DC is equals to new SchoolDB context. Now you can write the methods display students, display student, add student, edit and update student, delete student. You write all the things. Okay. So I'm leaving that to you. You write it. I'm not doing that. So guys, just to prove this is going to perform the actions to you. See, I'm simply, what I'm doing is only, watch, I'm creating students here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What I'm doing next? I'm adding all the students to the table, calling save changes, will save the data. Next I am retrieving now. This will select dc.select, dc.students will fetch you the data. Two actions I'm doing. First insert, afterwards select, afterwards select. Then create a view for this also. Right click, add view, MVC view. And guys, last day I said you, without wasting your time, the simplest way how you can create a list. How to do? Go for list. Model class, student. Context class, SchoolDB context. So that will automatically create the view to you now. Click on the add button. Hey, same mistake. Every time we are repeating the mistake. Once you need to build first. Now we need to do it. Yeah, right click, add view, list, student, school DB context. One thing is, I said you, for ID, don't generate the things, it will generate only for name and all. If you want, make a modification. See, it creates and you can easily make the modifications you want. Add the things if you want. If there is no ID here, let's add, because ID is a key column, it won't show you. I'm adding dot yes ID. Here also. It writes everything to you, make the minor changes what you're expecting. It'll also add a link for new, see that? Also added a link for new, and it also added the link for edit, delete, as well as details. Details is nothing but view. Everything it'll do. Array, what I shown you by writing the code, NT framework has done the same thing only. Okay, so done, we are ready with this, and now I want to execute this. When I execute, it will create me the database, it will create me the tables. Already we saw this in the last class. But now I wanted to create the stored procedures also. I wanted to create the stored procedures also. If you want to create the stored procedures also, what you require to do is, you're required to tell to the entity framework. You're required to tell to the entity framework. What should I tell? You should tell to the entity framework, please create me a stored procedures also. Please create me the stored procedures also. How should I tell? Go to the school DB context. Guys, I'm using database dot set initializer. I'm using the set initializer. What initializer? Let's go for new, create database. Drop create database always. Every time it will drop and recreate the database for us. And here you are required to tell the context class. What's the context class name? School DB context, the context class. You remember this initializer now? Because multiple times I run this, every time the database will be dropped and recreated. That's all. You can use whatever you want. Yeah. Now, what I said here, we are required to tell to the entity framework. What to tell to the entity framework? Please create me the stored procedures. Earlier, it's not creating the procedures here. It will do them by performing, by writing insert and update statements. But now I wanted to do all these activities by calling the stored procedures now. I hope you are clear. I want to perform all these activities by calling the stored procedures now, not by manual insert update deletes. So I need to tell to the entity framework to generate the procedures. How to tell? In the DB context class here, there is a method called as on model creating. Understand the meaning of it. On model creating means when the model is creating, means it is generating the database to you. When it is generating the database to you, we need to override that method. We need to override that method. The method is in the parent here, virtual, we need to override it. How? When we say override, you know now, you will get the list of all the methods which can be overridden. In that you will find a method called on model creating. That is a method. See, by default, what is it doing? It is calling the base class on model creating. I don't want this, just remove it. Now here, we need to tell now. What we need to tell is, generate me the required procedures, generate me the required procedures to perform the CUD operations. Again, I'm telling you not CRUD, it is CUD, not for select, only for create, update, and delete. You're required to override the method called on model creating, and you're required to tell how to pass, how to tell that. See here, this method takes a parameter, model builder. The model builder. This model builder, actually the name itself, it's doing the same thing. It's building the database. DB model builder, what is it? DB means database model builder, means this is responsible for building the database based on the models. They're responsible for building the database based on the models. Okay, so model builder dot model builder dot will have something called configure or something. I forgot. Entity model builder dot entity. For which type? Student entity dot map to stored procedures. We need to call that method. When I call this method, I am telling the entity framework, create the required stored procedures also. So come to index action, run it once. Array, for us, insert, update, delete are same. For us, no difference in the coding here. Only thing is, earlier NT framework used SQL statements. Now NT framework uses stored procedures. My code won't change. My code for insert, update, delete is same only. Okay, you don't require to bother procedures now, how to write the code. That's none of your business. Your code is same. Only thing is NT framework will now use stored procedures behind the skin. And really, can I change this procedure space? You can't change. So you can change this procedures also. This option is available. It can create the procedures to you and do it. That's all. Yeah. Inserted, guys, and you got back all the data. Let's go to SQL Server and verify now. So with this is the third database we created, right? First one, store DB. Yesterday, company DB. Today, school DB. Now you see all the three databases. In store DB and company DB, you won't find procedures, but in school DB, you'll find the procedures. And the procedure names also, NT framework follows the same conventions what I explained you. What is that? Entity name underscore, the type of operation you want to perform. Student underscore insert, student underscore update, student underscore delete. You remember, these are the names what we have manually given for our procedures. Even NT framework also follows the same conventions. Watch. Go to company DB, which is created yesterday. Go to programmability. Go to store procedures. There are no stored procedures that are created for you to perform the CRUD operation. See there. Did not create. Check your store DB also. Store DB, programmability, store procedures. Here also you can watch, there are no store procedures that are created for you to perform the CRUD operations. But now come to school DB, programmability, stored procedures, student delete, student insert, student update. What it writes the code for insert, update, delete operations here. It writes the code for insert, update, and delete operations. Okay, it will just create the procedures to you, and you can see the three procedures that are created for you by the entity framework. So it can generate you not only database, tables, constraints, but it can also generate you stored procedures also. Performance with stored procedures is faster and efficient than normal SQL statements. You learned in your ADO.NET classes. Performance with stored procedures is much efficient. For that reason, if at all you want to create the procedures, it will create. Sir, can I alter the code in the procedure? You cannot do anything at all. Are you clear? You cannot do anything at all. No actions can be done by you. You must use it as it is. Understood the point? You must use it as it is only. Sir, I want to create my own procedures. You want to create your own procedures? Then that is DB first. I already shown you. That is DB first. Then you cannot go for using code first. Code first means you are not creating your own procedures. What are you? You are going to code first means NT framework will generate everything for you. Okay, Mr. Raju, who is this Raju? Stop the video. Not able to stop it. Mr. Raju. Yeah. So, am I clear? Procedures are created to perform the CRUD operations. And you also saw the name of the procedures here. The name of the procedures are the same conventions what we followed. Entity name, underscore, the action you want to perform. Student underscore insert, student underscore update, student underscore delete. Not required, but we have an option. What option? You can even tell what names you want for the stored procedures. Useless here, we can't call them or do anything. The option is available. You can even tell what name you wanted to give for your stored procedures. If you don't give a name, you already saw that. Student underscore insert, student underscore update, student underscore delete. No, sir, I will give my own name. That is also possible. You can give your own name to the stored procedures. How can I give my own name to the stored procedures? If at all you want to give your own name to the stored procedures, you're required to write like this, guys. Just watch it. Map to stored procedures. And here, yes means student. Lambda expression. Yes dot insert. Yes dot insert. And here, you can tell the procedure name. Same way, yes dot update, yes dot delete. It's a bit lengthy thing. You require to write like this and tell the procedure names here. And when you're telling the procedure name also directly, you cannot tell the procedure name again. You require one more alias and use x dot has name. It's not going to be easy. It's a lengthy code. Like I want to name the procedure as insert underscore student. Same again. Again, under this, you're required to use some more alias name again, x dot has name update underscore student. That alias name, anything you can give. That's a delegate call, guys. Dot has name delete underscore student. That's it. This is how you use it. No use. Option is there, but still I say are useless. Why? When I cannot do any modifications and I cannot call that procedure directly, what name it is having, that is none of my business. That's none of my business. Okay, let it have its own name, but still there is an option that is available for you to give a name for that, and this is how the name has to be given. Let us rerun the index view again. Just a second. Let's rerun the index view again. Can you show example for making? Are you sleeping, Vishal? I already shown you in the DB first and you're again asking me, show me. I shown you now, I given you an example of creating your own procedures and call them. Yes or not? In the DB first, I already shown you. Code first means you cannot do it. I'm telling me, again you are telling show me, sir. Code first means NT framework will do. You cannot do. You cannot do Ankit. Not possible. It has given you only limited options. You can't do that. You have only limited options here. You cannot do. If you want to do everything on your own, then that is a DB first, not code first. Scroll DB. I used a drop create database always. Nah, that's it. Dropped off and recreated of the database to you. You can see the procedure names are changed. Okay. So basically, the thing is, here we cannot do our own things because it is completely code first. It is completely a code first approach. We cannot do whatever we want. If you want to do all these things on your own, then your option should be people first, not code first. If you want code first, this is the only option what we have. Where is it drop database? Where is that? Tell me first. Where is that? Okay. No, it cannot, Ajay. That is a drop create database always, not in the end. Next time when you run, it will drop and recreate. It is not a drop database. It is a drop create database always. Means whenever you run, it will drop the old one and create the new one, not in the end of the debugging. Next time you run, not end of that. In the end of that, if it stops, your database won't be there. You can't see anything at all. What will happen is that next time, first time you run, it will create you. Next time you run, it will drop and recreate you again. Okay, that is what happens. Write link query. Write a link query, Dinesh. You need to write a link query then. Link is available now. You need to go for writing the link queries for that. Okay. Depends. We can't tell. All companies won't do the same thing. Everyone can use a different approach or different options. You understand English here? Not possible. I'm telling again and again, you're asking the same question. You cannot do that. You need to write link queries only. I'm telling now, first told I said you, for select you cannot do. Again, you're asking the same question only. Possible only for insert, update, delete only. For select, you need to write your own queries only. For select, procedure won't be there. In code first, we cannot do that. If you want that, go for DB first. Yeah, this is about the stored procedures and how NT framework will create the stored procedures for you. This is how NT framework is going to create the stored procedures. Next. The next thing in our discussion, guys, the next topic in our discussion is inheritance strategies. Inheritance strategies. What are these inheritance strategies? Actually, when entity framework is going to create you, the tables and all, when it is going to create the tables and all, so actually it will follow you some strategies here, some strategies for you. What strategies? Like how exactly do you want NT framework to create the tables to you? How exactly do you want entity framework to create the tables to you? Like see, I have multiple, for example, what I'm trying to tell is, I have multiple models, multiple entities, parent-child relationships. So, in that type of scenario, how NT framework has to generate the required tables to you? Means You remember you learned in the inheritance classes. One day I explained you with the three entities: student, teaching staff, non-teaching staff. And on that day, what did we do? We picked up all the common properties and defined in a parent, so that the child classes doesn't require to redefine the properties again now. What we are using is reusability. The same approach, the same option was available for you in your databases also. You can do that with databases also. Suppose student and teacher are there. For student and teacher, we have some common attributes like ID, name, phone number, address. So student also has this attribute, teacher also has this attribute. Generally, when you are creating a table, what we do? We add these 4 columns in the student table. We add these 4 columns in the teacher table also. So without that, NT framework tells you, you can use your inheritance strategies here also. You can create one table for 4 common attributes and separate tables for like the specific attribute. Just like inheritance, what I taught you. Okay, you can do that. So that is what we call as inheritance strategies. We can design domain classes using inheritance. Entity framework will create tables based on the entity classes hierarchy. And there are 3 approaches to represent an inheritance hierarchy in code first. There are 3 approaches to represent an inheritance hierarchy in code first. What is that? Table per hierarchy, table per type, table per concrete class. What is that? Table per hierarchy, table per type, table per concrete class. What is table per hierarchy? Let us take the same student and teacher, guys. Student and teacher. I have a set of attributes in student and a set of attributes for teacher. And there are some common attributes between the two. There are some common attributes between the two. So, if you want to follow inheritance, what will you do? You will pick all the common attributes first and define one class. Okay, and then one another class for student, inheriting from the parent class and attributes specific to student. Another class teacher, inheriting from the parent and the attributes of the teacher. So how do you do that? Watch, guys. How you are just going to perform this activity? Let us try to understand about that. How we are going to do that? Now, my first entity is student. My first entity is student. What are the attributes I have for my student are? Look, student is my first entity. Attributes are ID, name, phone, address. Okay, plus the other things I have is class, marks and fees. Class, marks and fees. Class, marks, fees. Second, teacher. For teacher also, guys, I have ID, I have name, I have phone, I have address, and something specific to the teacher, like what? Subject, salary, designation. Subject, salary, designation. And guys, what I taught you in the inheritance, pick up all the common attributes and define in one class, making the class as a parent for student and teacher. What are the common attributes? So first we need to define one class with all the common attributes, right? Okay. So first, my first class is person. My first class is person with all the common attributes. My second class is a student inheriting from person. My third class is a teacher inheriting from person. My second class is student. My third class, teacher. Yeah, this is a old story. I did not tell you anything newly. We learned all these things already in our inheritance classes long back. Okay, now? Now the question is, how entity framework is going to create them on the database? How entity framework is going to create these things on the database? We have three options, guys. What are three options? You know, the first option is table per hierarchy. Table per hierarchy. So what is the table per hierarchy? You know, I'm getting an error. This Sheikh, I can't tell you like that. If at all you can get me the laptop and show you, I can resolve it. But without looking at it, I cannot tell what exactly is the problem. If you're facing that, create the project again, recreate the project again where you're making the mistake. Without looking into the code, I cannot tell you what exactly is happening over there. Yeah, I saw your error message in the chat yesterday, but I need to look, I need the system to resolve the problem. And Sai Kumar, yes, we are using Oracle database, you have that option. Fine. So three approaches or three options are available for us here. The first one is a table per hierarchy. What is the table per hierarchy? In table per hierarchy, entity framework will create only one table for all the three. Only one? Yes, only one. And that table contains 4 plus 3 plus 3, 10 columns. 11 columns actually. 11 columns. What is the 11th column? 10 columns we can see 4 plus 3 plus 3, 10. The 11th column is called as discriminator column. The 11th column is called as discriminator column. And now, actually for all the three, one table only will be there. So the table will have 11 columns totally. Okay, how exactly is the data stored, you know? Watch, guys. How to create, I'll show you. First, let me show you how is it going to create the things to you. This is how the table is created. ID, name, phone, address. Next, class, mark, space. Next, subject, salary, designation. Next, discriminator. Can you understand the structure? When you are storing data for a teacher, it is putting nulls in the student. When you are storing data for a student, it is putting nulls in the teacher. And to tell that is a student or a teacher, it is maintaining a discriminator column. And this is what we call as table per hierarchy. What do you call? Table per hierarchy. This approach or this concept is basically called as a table per hierarchy. Means for the whole hierarchy, one table is going to be created. Option number 2, table per type. Table per type. What is table per type? As the name tells you, it will create you one table for, means it is just going to create you 3 tables basically. Table per type. Per type means for every type one table is created. Watch it. People table, student table, teacher table. People table, student table, teacher table. People table contains what? The common data, student and teacher. And you observe all of you, ID in the people table is primary key. ID in the people table is primary key. ID in the student and teacher table are primary key plus foreign key. That is a primary key plus foreign key. What is that? Array, the ID here should match with the ID here. Remember, this is a primary key for this as well as it is a foreign key also. And see the 456 here or the 456 should match here now. So this is again a primary key and foreign key. So this, the first table ID is primary key. The second and the third table ID is primary key plus foreign key also. Both the things. What we call this? Table per hierarchy. Sorry, table per type. The first option is table per hierarchy. Single. Table per type means separate table. Next, the third option is table per concrete type. Table per concrete type. What is this? In this, it will create your two tables here. One is student table with all the 7 attributes of the student, and one is teacher table with all the 7 attributes of the teacher. Are you clear? Students, teachers are the tables. There you have all the attributes of the student, and here you have all the attributes of the teachers. So that's how exactly it has just created you the things. NT framework will create you based on the inheritance strategy you are asking for. So how should I ask? I'll tell you. How to ask, I'll tell you. But you are going to specify what inheritance strategy do you want. So when you tell the strategy you want, based on the strategy you are asking for, NT framework will take the responsibility of generating the required tables and the classes to you on the database. Okay, so did you understand my point? So you can just ask NT framework, how exactly are you expecting this? You can ask NT framework, how exactly are you expecting this one now? So when you tell the NT framework, I am expecting like this, then NT framework will do all the things according to your requirements only. According to your requirements, NT framework will generate you everything for you over there. Am I clear, all of you? So now let us try to understand the 3 options here. What is the first option? Table per hierarchy. Table per hierarchy means what happens? NT framework is going to generate you one single table only, and under that single table only you will be finding up everything now. Everything in the sense, you will be finding up all the columns associated with all the entities. All columns that are associated with all the entities you'll be finding up under that only. So that is only what we just call as a table per hierarchy. Hope it is clear, everyone? Yes or not? Okay. So that's what exactly the table per hierarchical concept is. Okay, let us see how exactly can I use these things. So basically now we need to define 3 classes here. What is the first one? Person class, student class, teacher class. Student and teacher should inherit from person. Let's do. Closing this project, let's create a new project. We'll name it as MVC with EF code first 4. MVC. Okay. Yeah. First step, install NT framework. Second step, domain classes. So we need to define 3 entity classes and 1 context class. Totally 4 classes are what we need to define. Come on, let's start defining the domain classes. First class, person, right? The first class is person. Person. Second, student. Student. And don't forget, the student should inherit from person. Same with third class, teacher. And teacher also should inherit from person. Yeah, you know all these things. Now first I need to define the attributes for person. So 4 attributes: ID, name, phone, and address. Yeah, first come to person, attributes for the person. Next, student. And student has 3 attributes, right? Yeah, 3 attributes. Third, teacher. Teacher also has 3 attributes. Yeah, we just have the appropriate attributes defined. First step completed. Sorry, second step. Second step still context class. We need a context class. Just going for a class. I think I used the school DB only here also. Yeah, school DB only. Already we have a school DB na. Or if I use a drop create database, automatically what will happen? It will recreate of the database to you. No worries about this. School DB context. So import system dot data dot entity. Next, inherit from DB context. Next, public school DB context colon base of constr. You know all these things. I don't require to tell you specially. Now, guys, listen. When you're writing the context class, what's your plan? Your plan is to create only one table for all. Yes or not? You want a separate table or one table? Only one table. How do we tell that, you know? All that we tell by defining the DB set property area. Recollect the day one, we defined one property called categories. One property called categories and one property called as products. So one categories table, one products table is created. Next example, supplier and customer. Today, student. So what property you define? It will define you a table there. So here, what exactly are we going to do? You know, public DB set, all of you observe. What we use here, you know, people, person, and what is the plural of a person? Plural of a person, people, not persons. The plural of a person is people. Is how you write. You write only one property here. If you because we defined only one property here, it will define only one class to you there. It will define only one class to you there. Okay. So public DB set person, and what is the name I'm giving? People. So now it is going to define only one table to there. Only one table. What is the table name? People. And the people table will contain how many columns? 4 plus 3 plus 3 plus the 11th column is the discriminator column. Understand the meaning of discriminator? To discriminate between student and teacher. And what will store there? the entity name will be stored for you. This is a student and this is a teacher. So here, because you defined only one property called people, remember all of you, it is going to generate you only one single class to you. Sorry, one single table to you. What is the table name? People table. What next? The next step you require to, okay, we'll set the database initializer as a drop create database always, guys. We already have database with a name called SchoolDB. So let's use the drop create database. So it will drop off and recreate the database for us. What next? Web.config, write the connection string. Come to web.config and write the connection string now. Come on, I'm using the connection string. Name is constr. Connection string plus provider name. All. Copy pasted the code. What next? The next thing is you need to define the context. Controller. You need to define the controller class now. I will create a controller here with the name called as school controller. Not a student or a teacher. What is that? School. And coming to, oh, sorry. I taken a class, sorry. Controller. The name is school controller. So basically, student controller deals with student, teacher controller deals with school controller deals with both. I'm giving a generalized name here. School controller deals with student also. School controller deals with teacher also. It is going to deal with both now. School controller. And all your things are common here. What is new? We'll see. First, import the model namespace. Create the context class name. All same. Import the model namespace. Dot models. Next, create the context class now. For the context class name, SchoolDB context DC is equals to new SchoolDB context. Now what you do is you try to insert some records basically into the tables now, into the appropriate table. Okay. So guys, all of you observe it, what I am doing. See, if I create the instance of the student class, how many properties are there? Speak louder. 7. Why? 4 plus 3, 7. Teacher, 7. So watch guys. But we have auto generation here because auto generation is there. No need ID for that. No need ID. Okay. So only 6. Array ID is auto generation. So only 6. So 6 for student. See how many 3 students? 3 students. 6 for teacher again. Okay. Now add all of them now. Add all of them to what? Add all of them to people. Array. See here we did not define student and teacher here. What we defined is only people. What we defined is only people. So now see tc.people.add S1, S2, S3, tc.people.add T1, T2 and T3. Okay. What next? Save changes and write on the view. Okay. Now when I run this, what will happen? The database is going to be generated. Table is created. One table only, remember, person table. Now it will start storing few records, 3 students into the table and 3 teachers into the table. And finally the view launches. When the view launches, I just wanted to get the option. What option? I want to show 2 links there, guys. 2 links. One is to show student data. One is to show teacher data. If I click on the student link, student data should come. If I click on the teacher link, teacher data should come. Right click on index, add view. Watch. I'm going to just place one link here, that's all. What is the link? Show all people details. Show all people details. Calling a method. What is the method? Hey, Raju, stop your video, yaar. So Raju, stop the video. Sit properly here. You're roaming. Yeah. So you have a link here, display people. When you click on the display people, it has to show me all the people's data. So we need a method now. What is the method? Display people. A method called as a display people. Public view result. What is the name? Display people is the method. When I call this display people, what it has to show you? It has to show me all the people data. It has to show me all the people's data. Check. I'm writing a query. From your sin, dc.people select us. It is going to get you all the people. Same way I want to write one method called display students and one method called display teacher. Got it? Display students and display teachers. Okay, let us write. Display students, display teachers. Observe carefully, all of you. What I want now, people are students are here. Students. What I want here? Teachers. Now, carefully observe the query. We have used the same query in all the three, right? We have used the same query in all the three. So all the three are going to get you all the people data. All the people data. First one will get you all the people data. Second one, third one, all. But in the second and third, you want all the people data? No. I want only student data. I can use dot of type student dot of type teacher. Did you understand that, guys? Now see all the three queries carefully. Observe and notice all the three queries. First query, going to get all the people's data. Second query is going to get all the people's data, but of type student. Just like a where clause here. But here we are going to use what? Of type. Which type? Student type. Third one? Of type teacher. Of type teacher. Are you clearer or not? Now we need to add an action method. Sorry, a view for display people, a view for display students, a view for display teachers. All these things. So first, let us go for creating a view for display students. Sorry, display people. Display people. So right click on display people. Add view. I'm going to get a view for a display people. Guys, observe. What I'm using? Person. Look, what is this going to show me? ID, name, phone and address. Only these 4 values. I'm not showing the remaining. What I'm showing only the, I can show everything, but I'm showing only this. And in the bottom, I have 2 links. What is it? You want to see all the students. You want to see all the teachers. This will call display students method. This will call display teachers method. Display students. Add view. In display students, what has to be shown? All the students. What has to be shown? All the students. Okay. Guys, observe this now. What is the model I'm using here? See? Student. In the previous example, what is the model we have used? Person. Here, student. Okay, when I say student, I can get 4 plus 3, 7 attributes now. Remember, how many? 7 attributes I can get now. all the 7. Finally, back to display people. Back to display people. Same like that, add a action view for display teacher also, add view. Now guys, tell me, what should I use the model now? What is model now? Teacher is the model, what you just required to use, the teacher model. And in the teacher model, you will be getting up all the attributes of a teacher. All the attributes of a teacher. So what should I run first? Index. What index will do? Index will create the database, create the tables, inserts the records into them. Understood? And displays a link there. What link? Display people. When you click on the display people will come. So first run the index view. Come on, run index. You can write here in the model class or anywhere you can write, but tomorrow manipulations cannot be done. Once application project development is completed, manipulations becomes problem. You learned in the C# classes why you write the code in the config. When interviewer is asking that question, means he is trying to understand whether you are correctly following the subject or not. So see guys, you have a link here. What is that? Show all people data. Okay. Meanwhile, let us come here. Go to school DB. Go to school DB. Tables. You'll find only one table. The table name is people. Observe. Understood? Right click on this and just try to use edit top 200 rows. Sorry, edit. Just go for edit option there. When you go for edit, it will show you. Guys, observe. Values are here, nulls here. Nulls here, values here. Discriminator. Telling you the first 3 are student and the next 3 are teacher. Table created now. Now come back to your application. When I say show all people details, what did it show you? All the people details. Now display all students, display all teachers. When I click display all students, all the students data will come. Display all teachers, all the teachers data will come. This is the teachers data. This is all. This is students. Am I clear? So how many tables are created? One table only will be created in the SQL server. What we call table per hierarchy. Table per hierarchy. So what about the remaining two? We need to change our code here. First I shown you table per hierarchy. How entity framework is going to generate you the required tables and classes. That's what I shown you. Okay, that's the first option what I showed you. See, first table per hierarchy, run this. What I created is table per hierarchy and you can see the table created like this on the database. How to change this to table per type, how to change this to table per concrete class, I will show you in the next example. In the next example, we'll see that. Okay. And guys, did you understand the 3 queries here? DC.people means you're getting all the people data. Here, people of type, student, people of type, teacher. You're getting student information here and you're getting teacher information here. Like this, we can just go for using the filters on this now. Okay now. Okay, so right now the default approach is table per hierarchy because I defined only one table property in my code. TB set. How many? One only. So that's the one. If you want a separate table, 3 tables, you need to define accordingly the required properties now. Based on that, the code changes. I'll show you that in the next class, guys. We'll see that in the next class. Okay, let's stop here. We'll meet tomorrow. If I want to perform new student, which model should I use? People model. What you require when you want to create a new student, we require to use a student model. I already shown you there now. See here, we are using a student model, not people model. If you use people model has only 4 attributes. People doesn't have the remaining 3. People has only 4. So what you require to use is student model and teacher model. Check it out. In the index, I shown you there. Yeah, you can write joins, everything. See, code first and joins, they are not related with each other at all. Joins can be used anywhere. Without using action method. Where I defined without using action method, my complete code is with action methods only. Without using action methods, where is the code, Ajit? Everything is with action methods only. Hey, mall తీసే గోడ అవతలకి. సరిపోతారు కదా నాని. ఇది కూడా లైన్ నిలబెట్టు.